So when you take a look, I'm trying to just keep it as a simple shape, getting a gesture of this one image. It's kind of a basic shape as you go, curving in space. And as the contour line is there, there's also the cross contour. So I'm just going to lightly lay these in. You don't necessarily see these cross contour lines that represent the cylinder of this part, but it does have a split down the middle, and if I generally just make a line just to indicate where it's going to be, and then taking a look at the reference file and seeing how close, now it does have the textures, the moisture, everything that goes along with that, and see, for example, on this interior part, as I look, let's see if I can indicate this just a little bit. On this side, this contour line that I'm going to look at represents, and it kind of overlaps, and if you think of it, if you split this bean open, you'd see the seeds inside. And just trying to go with an interior line first this time, just to see if I can interiorize that piece. So it's kind of wrapping itself around as it goes through this. And for the most part, unless I zoom in real close to this image, back up a bit, you can see that at the last one kind of wraps itself around. So it's really a very simple piece at the start, and then as it goes to the outer edge, it's a lot smoother, so you kind of have to over exaggerate that. So this part wrapping around, still just a line, pushing it down, trying to get some of the thick and thin line in there. This bottom one going to be thick in there, and for the most part, it looks pretty straight all the way across there. It does have a little bit of change. It's not a perfectly curved line. And then for the opposite side, just trying to come into this section again. So it's almost repeating this. So this part that wraps around kind of hits where it kind of dips down a bit into a divot. And building that section up. And then the part that has the most kind of structure in it is usually the stem of this. So when you take a look at it, see if I scooch this over, that stem might not be too obvious, but I'm just going to kind of go up here and where this piece is together, again, has a shape to it and starts off. Now you have the reflections of this water, but at the same time, if I just focus in on just one of these sections of this bean, that's going to be the base tone. If I click on it, that's going to be the reflected light right there. And then right at that seam, just giving itself a little bit of a shadow going across there, just slightly. So if you can see that as a close-up, where this wraps around it, it's kind of a very morphing shape there. See if you can't go ahead and give this an illustrative try here. Find that base tone and drag that across. And the nice thing about the photo reference is it has the cast shadows from other ones that help the curve. When you take a look at this shadow right here, it curves and kind of does like a butterfly shape. But since we don't have that coming across, you have to try to depict it on its own. So go ahead and give that a try. Blend this part out. Kind of going from dark to light, looking at each section here. Just kind of laying it out at first, and then I'll go back in with a little more detail there. And again, getting as much of the tone in there. So just as a first pass with the first layout of the shading, it's pretty well defined. Pieces after that just kind of darkening up pieces that are close together, since it is kind of a repeated pattern. of this section right here. See if you can lay that out there. And when you really get close at these water droplets, you can tell that they become almost dots that represent that highlight, very similar to that painted mural. Let's see what you can do there. And with this stem, trying to get it as three-dimensional as possible. And kind of forcing the dark shadow of the base tone. And that'll help you indicate that. So as you push those values, it'll really help the volume with the drawing. So you started off with the line, made the shape, got some value, no color, but texture is in here. The gray value, gray color. Then you went into it. So when you take a look at it, you can start to see the segments, depending on how delineated you make it out of these sections. See how you do there.